Bring out our second guest. His name is Victor Moreno, and he organizes the Phoenix film series Cult Classics. Put your hands together for Mr. Victor Moreno, everybody.
Oh, this is quite a deep couch.
Isn't it deep?
It's deep.
I like my couches like I like my conversations. Deep.
Right? You're setting the tone.
You've been an Ignite Phoenix presenter, is that right?
Yes, a couple times.
Very cool. What were your topics of discussion?
I think the first one I did was the art of movie posters. It was at the Phoenix Art Museum, so everything was the art of something.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
Yeah, and then I spoke at the very first Ignite After Hours, and my topic was zombies, why we love the undead. It was more of a reflection of we tend to like zombies and zombie media because it's a way of reconciling our inevitable date with mortality.
Wow.
Deep.
Yeah. Deep.
It's like this couch.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I've been trying to express to folks. So you do organize a series here called Cult Classics.
Yes.
Tell us what that is.
AZ. Cult Classics AZ is a revival film series. It's been this July 16th is actually going to be our 5th year anniversary of doing them here in And basically what we do is we take some of our favorite films, films that maybe are the kinds of audience that grew up in sort of the Netflix, home video kind of world, would have liked to have seen on the big screen. But never had the opportunity, whether they just missed them or they weren't born when some of these movies came out, and we sort of try to replicate the initial film-going experience, sort of in an authentic sort of way to create a film community around these sort of screenings, and not the heckle so bad it's good kind of way, but like let's celebrate The Last Starfighter by having a custom cabinet and pictures, and everybody gets T-shirts and sort of thing. Very cool.
So it is a celebration of cinema of all types.
Yes, exactly. That's kind of how we look at it. And we every month we do 1 or 2 of these movies, and we just theme out the theater. When Roddy Piper passed away last year, we themed out the whole theater to "They Live," right? And all the posters in the movie theater we replaced with white signs that said "Consume," "This is your God,"
wow.
Sort of things. And then sometimes we get the people who were involved in the movies to do like video intros. So we had Meg Foster, who starred in the movie, did an intro, thanking us for celebrating Roddy. We've had Elvira do some for us, and we did Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure a few years ago, which a lot of people might not know is actually filmed all through the valley. And we got most of the businesses that were in there, like Sunsplash and Metro Center, and we got them involved. And we had Alex Winter do an intro for the movie, telling us, "Oh, I remember Tempe and how hot it was." So it's cool when we just try to kind of let people learn about movies a little and just kind of have fun with pre-shows and all sorts of things.
That's what Transformers 5, was it? Just finished filming here in the Valley. In 20 years, you may be showing Transformers 5, and folks would be laughing nostalgically that, the 303 freeway.
Right. Well, we did show the Transformers animated cartoon like 30 years after it came out. Optimus Prime dying still crushed many a man's heart that night.
Indeed. Same voice actor, is that right? That
Yes.
has played him throughout, even to today.
Mm-hmm. Peter Cohen. I know that.
You have to be a veritable encyclopedia, or for the kids, I should say, Wikipedia of knowledge, cinema of all types. What is your absolute favorite movie? Is it hard to ask?
No, actually, it's funny because I've thought a lot about this, but I have a few favorite movies. RoboCop is always close to my heart because it's the first R-rated movie I remember seeing. And I remember, I've told this on my podcast before, in the 80s, R-rated movies were kids' movies.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people, unless you were growing up, don't really get it, but I remember going to see a screening of RoboCop at a multiplex, and then when we were all getting out, all the kids got official OCP crime fighters. I'm an official OCP police officer, and I'm it's cute because I'm sure it was an Orion Pictures promotion, but when we do movies now, we kind of try to emulate, like, oh, we're showing Big Trouble in Little China. We've got spring rolls for all of you.
Cool. Well, what is the line between nostalgia and cult?
I think it's a really easy line to delineate, but it's funny because a lot of people are curious about the same thing. To me, nostalgia is a movie that sort of keeps its appeal with you throughout the years. And it could be that the movie was terrible, but there's just something about it that keeps it in your brain. A big example I use about this is this movie called The Monster Squad. And it's about all these, it came out in the mid-'80s. There's nobody in it who's really that famous. And it's just about a bunch of kids who just have to team up to fight Dracula and the all-star team of the Wolfman and the Mummy, and then Frankenstein is their buddy, right?
Sure.
And it's a lot like the Goonies, but it's just this kind of campy kid hero thing. And I remember everybody would tell me, oh, you need to show The Monster Squad. Oh, that's such an awesome movie. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll do it as a double feature with the Goonies, because I thought, well, I don't know if either of these movies would do that great on their own, because it's one of those things where you grow up seeing these movies as a kid, but you think, I like them, maybe somebody else will. And we did it as a double feature, and we had to churn away
wow.
Over 100 people.
You doubted the Goonies?
Yeah, I've doubted a few movies, because the thing is, it's not just my taste. I consider, Russ just called me a curator, but I call myself a programmer, because I take lots of people's input and I listen to it, because I can't just project my taste. My taste might be very bizarre or odd. And when I listen to other people in the community that comes to our events, it creates these events that are really uniquely of the Phoenix community, and not just me imposing my taste on people like some kind of punishment.
You will watch Masters of the Universe.
You will! And that's kind of what I like about it. We have a really good crew of people around us who are all really deep film nerds, but also have different tastes than me growing up, whether it's just they grew up and watched something else, they're older or younger, and we have the most amazing crowds who come to our shows, and they say, oh, you need to play this movie or this movie. And if I haven't heard of it, sometimes I'll check it out, and because of them, we've been able to sort of get these spin-off events going that, when we can't, because Cult Classics takes place in a 300-seat theater, and we do pretty well every month, but sometimes we'll say, oh, we'd really love to see Hackers, or we'd really love to see Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I'm like, okay, well, let's find a way to make that happen. And we started a sub-event called Jump Cut, which takes place in a barcade out in Mesa. It's set up perfectly for doing these screenings, and afterwards everyone gets to play arcade games. I'm like, nostalgia, there you are. And to me, that's what it is. That's what makes a difference versus something like Eraserhead, where oh, that's a great movie, I love seeing it, but I don't think everybody and their mom's going to want to see that, or The Mist, where you're like, this movie's great, it's such a downer. No.
So nostalgia taps into almost a zeitgeist that has an affinity toward childhood. Cult is a film that maintains a viability, but with a very select audience.
It's very niche, and
Yeah.
the thing is, when you're doing revival series, the thing is, depending on the audience you're going for, if I had a micro cinema of 30, 40 people, I would be doing a lot more niche stuff, and we try to do that at Jump Cut and other things we're developing that aren't ready for public consumption yet. But, for something like Cult Classics, our attitude tends to be generally let's tap into this community and find out what's the appetite for a movie here. Something that does great in LA sometimes doesn't do awesome here, because I have friends who program theaters in LA, and they say, oh, Scream, and we do Scream, and it's we do all right with it. I mean, we still do well, but it's not like how we did with The Last Starfighter, which doesn't play well in other places.
Sure.
So
is that what you're saying is the definitive taste of Phoenix? Is that early 80s?
I think what it is there's a lot of families here, and there's a lot of people, because of ASU, there's a lot of people who are, in young 20-somethings, and they're looking for something, culturally to gravitate to. And people who have families are also trying to, impart things they thought they were awesome to make their kids just as cool as they were. So it kind of crosses both those boundaries.
Cool. What's a movie that's come out in the last, say, 5 years that you think will have the cult appeal that some of the movies you've just mentioned?
You know, it's difficult to say because for a while I thought Drive was going to be one of those movies, and I really enjoyed it a lot. And then I just saw his latest movie, the director is Nicholas Winding Refn's latest movie, The Neon Demon, and it was so bad it made me like Drive less.
Okay, sure.
But to me, it's just one of those things where sometime I think Cabin in the Woods probably will. I mean, it's a really good movie, and it just touches on so many of those movies you liked growing up that, you know, you can't help but love it because it reminds you of something.
Sure.
You know, it's intangible, but at the same time, it's like, oh my God, that's totally it, you know?
Yeah. The most amazing meeting an actor experience that you've had, because you've been to horror shows, cons, things of that nature.
I mean, I've had a few of them. I met Guillermo del Toro not that long ago, and it was at a horror con, and he was walking by, and then I'm not that, you know, starstruck when I meet somebody, but like he's done so many movies I love that the first thing I thought was to start speaking to him in Spanish. And he's Mexican, and I was like, oh yeah, you're from the same town as my mom. Oh really? Where's she from? And then we were just like speaking in Spanish for about 10 minutes, and at the end he's, tell your mom I said hi. You know, and then I posted a picture of it, and it was like, you guys are related. He's like your uncle or something.
I get that a lot with Drew Carey.
Right.
So, not quite the notoriety, but. So where can folks find more information about Cult Classics?
You can always find more info about Cult Classics by going to cultclassicsaz.com, and we are all over the social media, Cult Classics AZ, on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. We try to keep those updated all the time. Our next screening is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World next Saturday at the Pollock Tempe Cinemas, 9:30 p.m. Get tickets at Zia Records or our website. We're also doing Wayne's World at Jump Cut, doing Noah's Arcade Night on July 29th. You can also get tickets for that on our website. And then on Thursday, July 21st, we're doing an event called Jaws on the Water.
No.
And that is at the Moxie Hotels in Tempe. And basically, we're taking over their pool and projecting Jaws outside.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
That one's sold out, but we might open some more as it gets closer.
The sharks are hot right now.
Yeah, exactly.
There are.
I was going to say, it's a great idea doing it in a pool, too, because then you don't have to get out to go to the bathroom.
Right. He's figured out the underlying strategy, septic control.
Different meaning to doo-doo.
Well, that's why we're not doing Jaws number 2.
Victim